To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So I haven't talked about Carolyn's garden in a while. Her little test garden. She's done really well with it. I had no idea that she could get that much out of that little space. But I showed you a little clip a while back when a canning video I made, and she pulled up a bunch of vegetables and cucumbers and beans and tomatoes, peppers. Now, I'm not big into gardening. That's pretty much Carolyn's deal. I just tried to do what she asked me to do. But last summer, you will know that we didn't do very well in the garden. And the reason is right now it's 10 o'clock and you can see that most everything is pretty much shaded right here. Well, in the evening time, then we have all these trees that got in the way. So last winter, I trimmed all the cedar trees out of this spot right here. So now we get all kinds of evening sun. Really has helped her garden. You'll see here that the solar panels are still shaded. One of these days I might move these again. The problem is no matter where you move them, sometime during the year, they're gonna have extended periods of shade. So right now they have extended periods of shade in this spot. So one of these days I may actually just put them on top of the camper and be done with it. But I wanna kind of clean the camper up a little bit, maybe put some tan plastic sheeting like I have on the well house. So I'm in no hurry. I'm getting plenty of electric. So just standing here, I've noticed that there's beans just nearly falling off the vine. I think she's only got 2 bean plants. Tomatoes are just absolutely amazing. Waiting for these to ripen. But the cucumbers, she said she thinks are just about done. And the cucumbers have been feeding her lunch for weeks now. She got the miracles growing. That keeps the deer and the wildlife out. She's already taken seeds off of this, so she'll have miracles next year. So my big vegetable, if you call it a vegetable, is corn. I eat corn and green beans. That's pretty much my staple items for vegetables. Next year, I want to plant corn in this area right here. Open field, not being used for anything, and it'd be perfect for corn, except we have all these trees right here. So this winter, I'm going to clean this whole area up. The problem I'm having is I don't want to have to hand till this. It's what I have been doing for Carolyn's garden, is hand tilling. But I don't want to go out and spend a bunch of money on a tiller, because my thinking is tillers are a one-use item. Now I know somebody will tell me, oh, just hire someone to come and do it for you. I'm not that way. This is my property and I want to do it myself. It's the independence thing. So I got to figure out how to till this. Well, I half-heartedly told Carolyn, hey, keep an eye out for a used tiller. Maybe you'll find one cheap. And when I was thinking cheap, I was thinking, you know, a few $100s. But nope, Carolyn, she's just always on top of the Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. So yesterday, right when I'm at my busiest at work, she finds something. She found a tiller for $150. And she said, oh, I found a tiller for $150. And I thought, well, yeah, I'm gonna have to do all kinds of work on it. It's gonna need all kinds of repairs. But I saw the picture and it looked pretty good, and it was only like 12 or 14 miles away. It seems to be working just fine. He started it right up, couple pulls. I'm sure he played with it before I got out there to make sure it would start. I checked the oil. He's overfilled it and it's dirty. But even if it lasts a few years, it's cheap enough that it really doesn't matter. My thinking is the garden doesn't pay for itself very easily. You put a lot of effort into it to get a few tomatoes. So if you're spending a bunch of money on tillers and equipment, you're definitely going to lose money. But with $150, I should be able to keep this little 5-horse Briggs running pretty well. If I can get it to last 10 years, that's $15 a year. Now we're talking something reasonable for a garden. That put me up in my 60s. You only run it a few times a year. You're not going to need to beat it down. And I'm just going to use it for the corn. Everything else, she's building these raised beds. So I'm going to get this thing hooked up and running. I'm going to try to also hook it up to the lawnmower. I did that in my past. I had a riding mower, but I had a self-propelled tiller, It had the wheels on it and it would roll around. I couldn't operate that thing. I just couldn't. So I made an elaborate system and hooked it up to the back of the lawnmower, and it did really well. But I think this one, if I turned it around and ran it backwards, just pulled it kind of by the handles here, not the handles, but down here at the bottom, that should work. So I'm going to experiment with that for a few minutes, see if that works. If not, then I might have to build something more elaborate. So right now I'm going to check the oil, drain the oil because it's overfilled. He overfilled it. Put new oil in it, check the air filter, those kind of things. Then I'm going to go down and play with it, see if it works. He did give me the cover to this, so I don't get my fingers in there and smash them, but he mentioned that it needs a bolt right here, and he didn't have it, but I'm kind of in agreement with him. It doesn't really need to be there. Just keep my fingers out of it. It may be a little dirty. This is the air filter. It may be a little dirty, but it's not too terribly bad. I'll see if I can find one somewhere. Have one in spare. So I was telling you earlier that I had I think they call a rear tine tiller. So the wheels were self-propelled, but it was so powerful that anytime the tines got bound up in the dirt, it would just take off on you. It was hard to control. I don't know, I was probably doing it wrong. The field probably should have been plowed, but I'm not going to plow, so that means I'm going to do it with the tiller. John Deere has an attachment tiller that you can hook up to the drive, and it'll do the tilling. And that's where I got the idea, and that was, gosh, I don't know, 15 years ago I did that, and it worked really well. Now, the thing I did was I took the wheels off the rear tine tiller, so the only thing that was there was the tines, and I put it behind it. But the problem was the tiller was pushing the lawnmower. The tiller was so strong that if it got bound up again, it would actually lurch the lawnmower. The lawnmower did okay, don't get me wrong. It worked like I wanted it to, and I never changed the design, but I had to have a lot of steel and bolts and different things. With this little thing, which is what I wish I had back then, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it backwards. So I'm going to hook a chain from here to here. Now I don't know if this is going to work, it's just a theory. I'm going to hook a chain from here to the back of the lawnmower. Start it up, and then I'm going to come up here. I'll design something eventually where that I have something where I can just hold this down. Maybe a zip tie is all I need, I don't know. So the tiller will be trying to go that way, but the lawnmower will be pulling it that way, so it's going to be working backwards. Well, that worked absolutely fantastic. It even worked better than my old rear tine tiller. And the reason it worked better was if I accelerated too much with the lawnmower and it kind of skipped over a patch, I could back up. With the rear tine, I wasn't able to back up. It would get all twisted and start turning on me. But with this one pulling, when I backed up, the tiller would push forward, and then I could slowly go back forward. This worked out nice. I mean, look at that. This is hard, dry dirt. It hasn't rained in probably a month. Now, the tiller did have a little bit of a problem. It seems as though the carburetor is getting stuck in a wide open throttle. So I'll have to get in there and clean the carburetor, probably is what is going to happen. But I was able to control it by simply choking it down a little bit, and that kept it from getting so much oxygen. I don't know, it might have one of those old flappers in there that they used to have. It was also running out of gas, so that might have been an issue also. I don't know, maybe a half hour's worth of work and I got that much done. I don't even know if it was a half hour. Of course, there was a lot of learning curve with it, but the lawnmower does fine. I like that lawnmower. I didn't think I would like the hydrostatic drive where it's got like a gas pedal instead of gears, but I'm getting used to it, and it's really nice to be able to just back up without having to shift gears. Now I will put a zip tie on that when I'm actually prepared to do some actual tilling. I'll zip tie this down here, that way I don't have to hold it. I was able to sit sideways on the lawnmower so I could control this with one hand and use my feet to control the pedals. That worked out really well. Of course, trying to use the gas pedal with my left foot, that was a little odd. I've talked about this before, ingenuity, thinking outside the box. You can spend thousands of dollars on a garden setup, and what's the point of having a garden at that point? Just go to the store and buy some vegetables, because you're just running yourself broke. I mean, I see this with people all the time. They'll spend $1,000 to save 10, and it never makes any sense to me. So here I got a one-use item, the tiller. But then you hook it up to the lawnmower, and you can sit out here in 100-degree heat, and you don't even break a sweat because you're on the lawnmower. If you're standing there, you're just gonna exhaust yourself. You know, I see people buying tractors, and how do you ever justify buying a tractor? I just can't see it, especially for an acre and a half. It doesn't make any sense to me. You figure you get a tractor on this acre and a half, it wouldn't even fit down in there. But the lawnmower does really good. I hope I can inspire you to think out of the box so you can live your dream. Thanks for watching.